everyone. Today I'm coming to you from my living room. And I love this wall. I have this back here too that says, "This is my happy place and I have joy, my butterflies." But I wanted to talk to you about being positive. I mean, it's so interesting to me how when we walk around every day, people that are out there in the streets, maybe they're going to work or they're just out running errands, they can't stand to be in the house anymore, whatever this reason is. I've noticed that people are very selfish, on the street when they're driving. They're very inconsiderate of what the normal rules of the road are and just not really paying attention to anyone else but themselves. So I wanted to bring positivity into what we're talking about today and just to help us all stay positive, because it's very difficult to stay positive when you're hearing different things, conflicting stories, not knowing what's real, what's not real, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, so on and so forth. So with that, my whole point is this, is that we were all taught with morals and values, whether or not you know what those are, or whether or not they coincide with someone else's, or whether or not they're right or wrong. You were given a set of morals and values. When you become an adult, it is time for you to decipher what's right and what's wrong. And there are so many ways for you to decide what's good and what's bad, from the Bible all the way to the internet. And with that being said, it is up to you to decide what you're going to use as your moral compass, if you will. So for many of us, we may not have a moral compass, because when I think about some of the racial things that have started, from the police to people getting killed and different things happening, I think of especially younger people that are out there in the world who are influential. And I use you guys as an example because I get that you're very intelligent, you're very smart, you're very capable, and you're very savvy with technology and many, many things that we have right now that some people that are older are not. But I also want to help you understand that sometimes your decision making is definitely not positive. I think that a lot of times what happens is you see somebody else reacting and you hear it, but you don't investigate it on your own. Some of you, not all of you, but you don't investigate it on your own. And because you're not investigating these things on your own, you're just taking what you hear as Bible. Okay. So the reality is that as you're out here in this environment, okay, and you hear different stories about why somebody got shot because they were black, or why someone white did something to someone black. I mean, it's important to know all the facts before you make a decision. Sometimes you don't even need to chime in and be part of that process. A lot of times we all are responsible, many times, every time, we're all responsible for the decisions that we make, the choices that we make. It's important for us to be aware of our surroundings, as we've talked about before. But to stay positive means that you're looking for a side of life that's going to elevate you to another side of life that's in a positive way. You're staying out of the way of all the negative things that are happening. For instance, when you decide what you're going to do in terms of something that's happening in the world, your reaction is important to your next movement. Okay. So if you're reacting in a negative way, you're bringing on all this negativity into your life. You only get to a positive level if you stay with positive people, positive mindsets, positive direction and decisions and choices, period, point blank, and the period. Okay. You keep putting negative stuff into your mind, like, oh, this white man doesn't like me, or this black person doesn't like me, or this Asian person doesn't like me, or this Latino person doesn't like. I mean, you're putting that in your mind. Of course, there are some people out there, all ethnicities, that don't get along. But who cares? Is that your realm? Is that what you want to manifest? Is that the negativity that you want to bring into your life? Because where's it getting anyone? For hundreds of years, we've had slaves and we've had racism, and it hasn't gotten anybody anywhere, nowhere at all. Think about the people that are negative. Now, I truly believe that cancer comes from some form of hatred. It's unfortunate that we've had many people in our families that have died from cancer, but it is a form of hatred that materializes in the body because someone is unable to get over it, get past it, and get away from it. So because of that, unfortunately, it turns into this cancer that ends up killing the person. So you need to research that, look it up, find your own belief on it. That's my belief. But with that being said, why would you want something cancerous to invade your mental, your heart, your emotional, any of that? And racism is the biggest form of cancer ever. So you either get over it or you live with it. And however you choose to do it is going to be the culprit of your life. Okay? It's going to be what drives you. So how do we get to a positive level? For one, you have to find out what it is that motivates you. To me, if you are not on a positive note, you don't have enough in your life to keep you busy and to help you move in a direction that's going to give you the things that you want out of it. If you keep on running into scenarios where you're pissed off every day or the traffic makes you angry, you got to find out, you got to narrow it down. What is it that makes you mad? What is it that makes you happy? What is it that makes you sad? These are all anxieties of life. And these different anxieties can be taken care of with medication if you're going to go that route, or they can be taken care of with you finding a way that helps you to deal with it. Breathing in and breathing out might be something simple, but it is very effective. One of the things is fear. Fear is false. It is false. And false evidence appearing real, FEAR. And so if you do not take on that mindset that it is pushing you in a direction that is making you become this fearful person, fear doesn't always mean, it means that you hear something, do something, see something, and because you're worried about what other people are going to think of you if you do it or don't do it, or if you wear these type of shoes or you wear these type of clothes, somebody's going to judge you. But it might be something you like to wear. You might like to wear your hair that way. Whatever it is, if you have a fear of man, you're afraid of what those people think about what you decide you want to do. You're not using your own personal mental mindset to decide the positivity in your life. And if you can't stay positive, then how do you expect people to look at you in a positive light? Question mark, question mark, question mark, hashtag how. The reality is you can't, because you teach people how to treat you. And if you are pissed off and angry because you heard something on the news and you think it's true and it's maybe not true or whatever, then that's going to be something you have to deal with, you have to face, you have to understand, and you have to bring back to a place that's going to make sense for you and for someone looking at you. And this could be a little sister, a little brother. It could be someone younger or older or whatever. But the thing of it is, there are older people that look at you younger people because, to be honest, it's your world right now. You have all of the things that are making the money. Love him, but he just is so nosy. And I keep telling him curiosity killed the cat, but he don't listen. Anywho, with that being said, it is imperative that if you younger people are going to be leaders, that you've got to find positivity in some of the negative things that are going on. I watch a lot of the love and hip hop, growing up hip hop in New York, growing up hip hop at ATL, Atlanta, Los Angeles, and one of the key factors that I find is creating a lot of the drama on this show, if you will, which is what sells, I get it, is the fact that a lot of the younger people, younger artists, they don't want to listen to their parents. I mean, you have, you know, different children of like Flavor Flav's kids. You have Run DMC's kids. You have some of the Wu-Tang Clan's kids. Little Bow Wow. I mean, all these different young artists that are out there. And just to think that Little Bow Wow is the one that some of the younger ones look up to. With that being said, you have all of these younger artists, and some of them fail to listen to their parents. They want the accolades of being the one responsible for getting them on. And they're right to a degree, but also because of their parents. Like for me, for instance, the other day I was on Jason Lee's timeline, and I was like, hey, you need to interview me. And then he said, some girl said, I need to interview you. Girl, who are you? Well, you need to let people know who I am. I am Dina Marie. That's who I am. And so the reality is, if there are people who are getting put on because of their parents, why can't artists and other people put people on who don't have parents in the industry? Because we have valuable things to say. Reality, I'm going to get on, because you know what? I believe my blessings come in a spiritual form, and nothing or no one can stop that. And I will raise up. I know this. It's just a matter of time. And I hope that all of you are there to support me and help me get there. But at the same time, I don't worry about if somebody's hating on me or not hating on me, because like I said, I have a responsibility to be positive, and positivity is all I see in my future. I feel like my face, my body, my person exudes light and excitement and love and goodness. And that's because I choose to have it do that. With that being said, getting back to what I was saying in regard to being younger and being in this world, one of the things that I look at in my son and his friends, and some of, all the parents that we raised them, they played basketball together, someone played football together, but they've become thick as thieves, and they all are very good boys. They've had their run in with certain things, yes, unfortunately, but the good part about it is that it started at home. And sometimes there are children who didn't get that at home. And if they didn't, then it is important that you find it. It doesn't mean that there isn't a parent out there that wouldn't bring you in. It takes a village to raise a kid. That's a saying that's been around forever. You can ask and look on to others for that guidance if you don't feel that you've gotten that. You could talk to your parents and get that guidance. But the reality is, when we talk about these shows, growing up, hip hop and stuff like that, you have to find the message in it. Sometimes the message isn't that, oh, I can go out here and be a rap star. I can go out here and be a singer. I can go out here and be a producer or whatever. Sometimes the message is, wow, I know my mom told me to do such and such and such and such, and I listen to them, but I noticed that so-and-so is not listening to their mom or their dad, and maybe that's the reason why they're not excelling in this business or excelling in their life. Whatever the situation is, sometimes you've got to weed out the negativity so that you could get to the positivity. And if you can't stay positive in a world that's negative, then guess what? You're being weeded out. You got all these different things that are out there that are forces. I mean, I hear people talking about the third and fifth dimensions, and I hear people talking about different things that help you to elevate and understand what's going on in the world. Whatever it is that helps you understand what you need to know to get to the truth, you've got to find that, because who's not to say we aren't in a form of Armageddon right now? In our previous learnings of the Bible, it's always taught us that Armageddon means a destruction of the world and then a rebirthing of some sort. But think about it. This coronavirus has created a destruction in the world. And now we are in a rebirthing period. With us being in this rebirthing period, where are you going to be? Are you going to be on the negative side, where you're constantly finding the bad stuff that's created racism, that's created hypocrisy, that's created hatred, that's created all of these negativisms that continue to destroy people, that continue to destroy places and things that God gave us, okay? Or things that have been divinely provided for us. Are you going to be on that side? Because if you are, you're going to be part of that virus that's dying out. Trust and believe. Because every time we get to a place where there needs to be a rebirthing, it's killing off the negativism. It's killing off the nasties. It's killing off the viral things. And either you're a viral thing or you are a living thing. And to be a living thing means to be a positive organism that others can feed off of. If you're not getting this whole thing with the coronavirus, and if you're not getting the brainwashing that's going on, you have to be a lot more adamant about what you are taking in. You already know that you were given the ability to make up your own mind. We are being forced to wearing masks. We are being forced to possibly take a vaccine. And some people believe that vaccine is going to inject a microchip in them. And if you think about the movie Terminator, where only body heat was seen in red, the same concept goes with this microchip, is that if you are closer than 6 feet to a person, then your body heat and their body heat is going to morph. It won't be separate, and they won't be able to identify you as an individual. So now they're planting, stay 6 feet apart, stay 6 feet away. When you have to think with your own freaking mind that a virus is so freaking small that it can get into the mask because the mask is not secure on your face. Any mask that is fit in a surgical field is done by a customization. They have to customize it and fit it, and then it does its job, but it helps to keep out bacteria, which bacteria are larger than viruses. So when we talk about this corona being a virus, it's so minuscule that it's seeping through anything that you get into or anything that you wear on your face. When you touch your face, you're actually touching your face more with the mask on than you would if it wasn't on. So I'm just telling you that if we don't stand for something, we're going to fall for everything, everybody. And those people who are falling for it are going to be part of that Armageddon of destruction of people that are going to be done away with. Because if you think about it, you're wearing these masks, you're breathing in your own germs, you're killing off your own immune system, and you've become now what they need you to become as far as population control. Okay. And I'm just putting it out there. Do I believe it? Do I not believe it? That is my personal choice and belief and understanding. But whether or not you believe it, whether or not you do something about it, it's all up to us, because without all of us falling into it, they can't do anything. They can't enforce anything. So you have to be smart. You have to be positive. You have to stay positive, and you have to realize, regardless, you could tell me to shut up if you want to, smarty pants, but guess what? You're part of the negative, and I choose not to be part of it with you. Peace. Stay positive, smarty pants.